Good morning and welcome to Money Wisdom, sponsored by Johnson Brunetti. I'm Natasha Lubchenko. We're teaching you smart ways to manage your money, and here with expert advice is Eric Hogarth, certified financial planner and Johnson Brunetti partner. Eric, thanks so much for joining us.
Of course, great to be here.
So today's topic is estate planning. I feel like we always talk about retirement planning here. This is something a lot of people don't want to talk about.
It's dying, so that's not as much fun. And we're certified financial planners, not attorneys, but it comes up a lot because people say, well, what if I don't spend all the money? And, they say the little jokes that parents say is, I didn't save this money to make my kids rich, but you didn't save all this money just to die and pay a bunch of money in taxes either. And it might be also about protecting the money while you're here. Someone gets sick, someone gets sued. So it's an important conversation to have.
Sure, and making plans always helps in the long run. So let's give our viewers some tips today. First one you say is designating beneficiaries is crucial.
Yeah, a whole bunch of people just don't do that.
Right.
I die, where does the money go? And sometimes I'll have people that come in and they're single or they're widowed or they don't have kids and they're like, oh, it's kind of a harder decision. If I had kids, I'd just give it to my kids, but it's important to figure that out. And of course, then there's people with kids who are like, I'm not giving it to my kids. So designating beneficiaries is a big deal because whatever you put in a beneficiary designation is going to supersede what you put in a will. So if you put in your will, I want it to go to my kids, and you put in your beneficiary, you want to go to me, I'm going to get it. Or your ex-wife is going to get it. So make sure that you spend some time looking at that stuff.
So making an initial plan is important, but you have to adjust it annually, correct?
Absolutely. Things change. And even if things don't change for you, the laws might change, the world might change, taxes might change. And I ask people that and they say, do you have a will? And they're like, yeah, we have a will. And then one of them will say, well, we got the will when our kids were born and now they're grandparents. It's like, you spend some time with this stuff because a lot of people make mistakes with it. And it's just too bad because you work so hard to save this money and then you don't know what you don't know. People make mistakes and it's just a shame.
And now what about understanding your estate plan? What's the best way to really understand your personal plan?
First of all, attempt to work with an attorney. Talk to a bunch of different attorneys because, we're in these conversations all the time, and I certainly talk to some attorneys who I'm like, what are you talking about? Find a good fit for someone who can simplify it. I actually said that to the attorney that I work with, who's great. My wife and I said, I want it to be simple. And he said, well, it's not simple. I said, well, I understand it's not simple. You have to make it simple for me because I want people to be able to read this and understand, oh, okay, that's what they meant. You should understand what you're trying to accomplish because it's your life and your money.
Right.
So it's most important to you. So make sure you find a good fit with an attorney.
And now this last one makes a whole lot of sense, is to talk with your family about the estate plan. It has to do a whole lot with them, doesn't it?
Yeah, it's interesting generationally with this. Like if you look at a Great Depression era person who's pretty old at this point, they don't talk about this stuff. They don't want anyone to know what's going on. Next generation, my parents' generation has given their kids enormous amounts of money already, so they're kind of hesitant to have the conversation. It's very specific to you and your family and what you're most comfortable with, but I have had those meetings with people come in, a family member has died, and they're like, I don't even know what they had. And sometimes it's a spouse, it's a widow, and they're just bringing in, I say, check the mail, everything you get in the mail for the next 6 months, bring it in and we'll try and figure it out. So you don't want to leave a mess.
Right.
And if there's things important to you, money or other things, take the time to write that stuff down to make sure if it was important to you, I bet it's important to them. So take time with it.
So a whole lot to learn about estate planning here and to understand. So if our viewers want to learn more today, tell us about your offer.
So it's a book, it's called The Greatest Gift. And it talks about this. You can get it. It's at moneywisdomtv.com. It's absolutely free. We'll send it to you. I would read it because it talks through this stuff, and there's different ways to have this conversation. It's not just like, hey kids, this is how much money we have. Maybe you don't even talk about money. And maybe help the grandkids out. So it's The Greatest Gift. I'd really encourage you to read it. It's not just about estate planning. It's more about what you want the rest of your life to look like. So moneywisdomtv.com, all free. It's good.
All right, Eric Hogarth, Johnson Brunetti, great offer as always. Thank you. And again, you can go to moneywisdomtv.com to receive this offer. I'm Natasha Lubchenko. We'll see you right back here next week.